Good morning, students. This is a chapter study of cells. So today we are going to learn about activities. Okay. As you all know me, I am Madhavi, your biology teacher from BRGS. So let's start. So activities on diffusion, osmosis and active transport. So let's watch some of the videos for better understanding.
If we are given this image and asked what exactly this is, I'm sure your answer will be a cell. Now to study this, we need to study every component present within. And not only within, we even need to study the covering, that is this part, in detail. Now can you tell me what exactly is this named as? That's right, it's called the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. In our previous video, we have learned that the cell membrane is selectively permeable in nature. That is, it only allows specific materials to enter and leave the cell. Any guesses what is the plasma membrane made up of? The plasma membrane is made up of lipids and proteins and also has some carbohydrate chains. There are two things that freely move in and out of the cell. Those include gases and water. Do you think these molecules need energy for traveling across the membrane? Let's take a simple example to understand what exactly happens in this case. We know what happens when a drop of ink is added to a glass of water. The single dark-colored ink drop spreads when added to water and the intense blue color fades slightly. If we see at the molecular level, then the ink molecules, which are compactly packed in the single drop, get a chance of dispersing in a larger area when added to the water. This is nothing but the process of diffusion. And we know that this dispersal process does not require energy. The molecules just try to move freely in the space available, and as a result, diffusion occurs. The same story is seen when gas or water molecules travel across the membrane. Take carbon dioxide for example. When cells undergo cellular respiration, a lot of carbon dioxide accumulates in the cell. On the other hand, there is very little carbon dioxide present outside the cells. Hence, the carbon dioxide molecules move outside the cells. Now, there is very little oxygen left after respiration in the cells. So the oxygen from outside the cells moves in through the plasma membrane to make up for the lost oxygen. That means carbon dioxide moves out and oxygen moves in. Both the gases move from their area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. And this diffusion process does not require energy. Diffusion is one of the processes by which transportation of several substances is carried out across the cell membrane. But it's not the only one process on which the cell relies. There are a few more methods that the cell adopts for transportation of substances. Let's have a look at these processes in the next video.
The osmosis process. Osmosis is defined as a movement of a solvent or water from a region of its higher concentration, which is a high water potential, to a region of its lower concentration, which is a low water potential, through a semi-permeable membrane. For example, if we compare the seawater with the fresh water, the seawater have less water potential as it contains high amount of salt compared to the fresh water. Imagine if we place a semi-permeable membrane in between the seawater and the fresh water, then the water molecules will move through the semi-permeable membrane from the fresh water to the seawater, because the seawater has less water potential as it contains high amount of salt compared to the fresh water. A common example of osmosis is a plant roots absorbing water from the soil. Let us learn How we can understand osmosis practically by performing an activity at home using basic materials. The materials used to perform this activity: potato, knife, common salt, fresh water, 2 glasses, spoon, length measuring scale. Fill both the glasses with an equal amount of fresh water in each. You can use the tap water here. Label the glasses as A and B. Leave glass A with the fresh water and add 2 spoons of common salt in glass B. Now using a spoon, stir the mixture in glass B till the salt dissolves. Now cut a peeled potato into 2 even strips. Make sure both the strips are of same length and size. You can use a scale to measure their length. I have kept the potato strips ready of 4 centimeters each. Now put 1 strip of potato in each glass and leave the setup for around 45 to 60 minutes. Remove both the potato strips from the glasses and measure their length. You will notice the change in the length and softness of the potato strips. The length of the potato strip in the salt solution will decrease and at the same time become softer. So, in this experiment, there was no change in the potato strip of glass A because the water potential of the potato strip and the water in the glass was same. Whereas in glass B, the water potential in the potato strip was higher as compared to the salt solution in the glass. So, the water moved out from the potato strip to the salt solution. As a result, the length of the potato strip decreased and became softer. In this experiment, the potato cell wall worked as a semi-permeable.
So the potato layer is worked as semi-permeable membrane, that is cell membrane. So through that the higher concentration the molecules move from higher concentration to lower concentration. So through semi-permeable membrane, that is cell membrane. So that is called osmosis. Next we will see the active transport.
Potato cell wall work.
In the first part of this video, we looked at diffusion for the movement of gases and osmosis for the movement of water. They were things that could easily move from a high concentration to a low concentration. That makes sense. So what is active transport for? Well, the clue is in the name, active. Work has to be done. Active transport moves molecules from a low concentration to a high concentration against the concentration gradient. This is the opposite of diffusion and osmosis. And because it is not the natural direction, energy is required to make it work. Active transport is carried out by protein carriers within the cell membrane, and they have a specific binding site for the exact molecules they are transporting. The substance binds to the protein carrier on the low concentration side, and using energy from respiration, the protein carrier releases the substance on the other side of the cell membrane, where it is already at a high concentration. See the difference between diffusion? No energy is needed because the molecules can just slide down the concentration gradient, whereas in active transport, they are joining the crowd, and so more effort is needed, hence the ATP. Active transport allows cells to absorb substances from very dilute solutions, such as root hair cells taking in mineral ions from the soil, and in kidneys, so we can hang on to the substances our body needs, such as glucose and sodium ions. Cells which carry out a lot of active transport often have lots of mitochondria to give them the energy they need. So from these two parts, you should know how cells take in substances and get rid of waste by diffusion, osmosis, and active transport. Just remember that for diffusion, the substance moves down the concentration gradient from a high concentration to a low concentration. Just think of a slide. You don't need any energy to go from high to low. It's easy. Whereas active transport is the opposite. The substance needs to move up the concentration gradient from low concentration to a high concentration. Think of climbing a ladder. You need energy to go from low down to high up.
I hope you understood the activities on diffusion, osmosis, and active transport. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.